Hey y'all, whoop whoop. So welcome back to my channel. And today I want to discuss Kenneth Petty, Nicki Minaj's husband, responding to and reacting to J. Cole's verse on Nicki Minaj's song Let Me Calm Down, which is featured on Nicki's fifth album, Pink Friday 2. I feel like this is the most vulnerable song on Nicki's album because one thing I expect from Nicki is to open up about her situation with her father, him passing away. I expect her to reflect on her life since becoming a mother. But one thing that I did not expect from Nicki Minaj is to speak about her relationship and marriage with her husband, Kenneth Petty. And I do feel like, I don't know if I said this already, but it's the most vulnerable song on the album for me personally, in my opinion, because, talking about your relationship is one thing, but talking about your relationship when your significant other is not a public figure but has this controversial energy and image about him in the media amongst fans and stuff like that. I think talking about him and always showing him is always sort of a risk for her because people put him and his past on her reputation. And so along with talking about Nicki's marriage, I've watched reviews on the song as well as the album, where it's like, for example, on the Rory and Mal podcast, one of their co-hosts had to make a comment about Nicki's husband Kenneth Petty's and his legal situation, right? And so I feel like that's very risky for Nicki, as in if I were her, I probably wouldn't talk about it. Not that she shouldn't, I'm just saying that's why I appreciate this so much, because like talking about her marriage only opens up the door for more criticism on the marriage and on her partner, who is not a public figure and thus cannot defend himself. The song in whole is really about a relationship and a partner, her Nicki needing her space in a relationship and wanting to be understood and wanting her husband to have some sort of identity outside of her, which is like that's just something I would never expect. I would never expect Kenny to be the type to run after her when she's mad or just calling her phone a million times. Would not expect that at all. And so on J. Cole's verse, he basically came on addressing him and saying, and Nicki said, like, we had a conversation about for like 2 hours. She let him hear the song and he immediately loved it, and he sent his verse back. She was scared to listen to it, and we all saw that tweet. When Nicki got the verse back, she started crying immediately because he was really addressing what they spoke about in that conversation, whatever conversation that he had and whatever she had already expressed in her verse on the song that was already completed. If you're still here, please like the video, tap the notification bell, and subscribe to the channel so you guys get notified every time I post something on here. But let's get into how J. Cole addressed Kenneth Petty and Nicki Minaj's marriage on Let Me Calm Down off of Pink Friday 2. He says, she bad AF but hard to deal with, and it ain't her fault. She got ambition like the ends and the vision for herself, so she can't rest until she feel like she done made her mark. Sometimes you gotta play the back, so if you love her, then you gotta learn how to play your part. Really like telling Kenny, like, make sure you play your part, make sure you cherish her and accept who she is and her role in her genre of music, her role in the culture, her role in history. A lot of dudes want her, so make sure you take care of home safely, while without resorting to street tactics. He says her life was trauma-filled and left her with a tainted heart, yet you the guy that she want to tat her name across, but you need patience and a lot of extra faith from God to keep the family together at a time when it's so regular to break apart. Cole is talking to Kenny, and he says this later on in the verse as someone who this message is sent from God, but he is the messenger. See, he said, I'm just a messenger, but God is who this message is from. I want to send you my respect because I rep for the ones that hold their wifey down despite all of the extras that come, so as if their life is somehow perfect and they never been plunged into a dark place, so I can't respect when it's done. And then Nicki comes back with, I wrote a line for you and it was beautiful. I made a sign for you that said you're beautiful. Okay, this is not American Idol, but y'all get what I'm saying, okay? Right, so back to the topic at hand. as you can see, J. Cole is basically telling Kenny that it is not easy holding a girl down like Nicki Minaj, who was highly sought after in a romantic way. She is a icon in the music industry, in hip hop. She's a titan. She's a legend. She's also a sex icon, and you need to treat her as such, right? And there's so many reasons why this verse is so important to me, why this song is so important to me, and why I'm even making this video. Let's listen to what Kenny had to say about J. Cole's verse. If you don't know, Nicki Minaj and Kenneth Petty were live on Station Head a couple nights ago talking about his top 5 songs on the album, as well as his first reaction to hearing Let Me Calm Down featuring J. Cole. So here it is.
Right, yeah. So go back to Let Me Calm Down. How you felt the first time you heard that song?
The first time I heard that song, it wisened me up as a man. It made me really.
Oh, hold that thought. Wow.
No, that J. Cole song is very intelligent. Both of y'all, y'all spit some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like usually you don't even go in that direction by letting these people know how you feel about certain things and certain stuff, but you just overall put it together neatly. And he packaged it up.
Thank you.
And sent it out. You know what I'm saying? So it was basically an overall beautiful song. I love it.
Thank you.
The whole album is dope. Fine. The whole album. I listen to your whole album every day. That's my wake up workout. My go to bed workout. Everything. And I'm not talking about even physical. I'm talking about mental workout as far as being intelligent and knowing how to, just be a real man to my wife.
Interesting. Do you think that you realize that you are standing in the presence of the greatest of all motherfucking time?
I said that to myself when we wasn't together when we first got back together. I'm always feeling like that about you. You know what's up.
And there you guys have it. That was Kenneth Petty's reaction to J. Cole's verse. And it was really cool to hear. I was so glad to hear that, Kenny is mature enough. He's in his 40s, right? So he's mature enough to take that as a, hey, brother, just like a tap on the shoulder, and not being, not aggressive, but abrasive to the message and stuff like that. Because can you imagine, you're not a public figure and dating someone who was one of the biggest public figures ever, and then another public figure, another titan, kind of putting your issues on display or your insecurities on display, and then sort of not having a voice to defend yourself and your perspective. And so it's really cool to hear that the album is a mental workout for him, because there's nothing more attractive than a man who exercises his mind and can communicate that, and can communicate on a highly intellectual and analytical level. And it was just really cool to hear Kenny take in that message, and I really hope that they put it to practice. And I really wanted to speak on this and make this video because a couple months ago, with the VMA situation and everything that went down publicly between Kenny and Offset and Cardi and Nicki and stuff like that, I felt like a lot of people, Barbz specifically, they found it so hard to believe that at a moment's time that Kenny and Nicki weren't on the same page. We took a L when that happened. Kenny should have not ever been caught on camera addressing Offset or another public figure, especially one that they are in turmoil with. And so my point in that moment was to say, hey, I don't think this was right. I think that Nicki had no idea that this was happening, and I think that Nicki had to check him. I think that they had to have a conversation about how to move in those situations and what not to do. And I think that, into Kenny's defense, he could have been caught in the moment. However, that was a moment that they were not on the same page, and it's okay to not be on the same page in a relationship as long as you guys are working towards that same page. And I think a lot of people, a lot of Barbz specifically, have this sort of perfect picture of relationship goals when it comes to Kenny and Nicki. Some of y'all, but not really. And when it comes to celebrity relationships in general, we have to see so many examples of us let's stop glorifying celebrity relationships, yet you guys cannot imagine Nicki and Kenny having an argument or having a disagreement. Disagreements are okay and they're healthy, and we don't need to know about them, and we don't need to not know about them. Whatever they want to share is totally okay, but let's not act like they are not a regular couple who goes through ups and downs, and their ups and downs could be of greater magnitude because Nicki Minaj is a public figure, and everything at the end of the day falls back on her. And so I really wanted to pull back the curtain. I think this song did an amazing job of doing so. It was vulnerable, it was honest, and it wasn't too much, you know. And once again, I commend Nicki so much for just talking about this, because this is not something that I would have ever expected from her. And as a fan, I feel proud, and I feel really like full, and I wish them the best of luck and just health in their marriage, in their union, in their family, in their growing family, and in their evolution as a couple, both individually and together. So I want to say thank you guys so much for just listening to me and this video and stuff like that. So please like it, please share it, please let me know your comments in the chat if you made it this far. Comment Zunika, okay, because Zunika for life. And yeah, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see